Welcome to video 6 of a complete T-SQL course built specifically for business professionals. This video tackles 3 filtering operators that cover text patterns, ranges, and value lists. Let's get into it. Like is a where operator that matches a text column against a pattern rather than an exact value. The pattern is a string literal that can include one or both of 2 special characters called wildcards. The first wildcard is a person sign. It means 0 or more of any character. Let's start with the simplest case, finding all products whose name starts with the word mountain. So here we have our initial query. Let's add the where clause. We'll use the like operator. We want the word to start with mountain, so we'll put a wildcard after this word. Run the query, and we get a result. Every row has a product that starts with the word mountain. We can even put the wildcard at the start instead. We'll start with the wildcard. So like %bike matches anything ending in bike. Let's run this query. We get one product, and yes, it ends with the word bike. And you can put wildcards at both ends. So like %mountain matches anything containing the word mountain anywhere in the name, whether it appears at the start, the middle, or the end of the string. So here you go. Here the word mountain is inside the product name. The second wildcard is the underscore. It represents exactly one character. So when the person sign matches any number of characters, the underscore matches precisely 1. Let's stick to our mountain example and try to match it to mountain end caps. Suppose I don't know what comes after E, so I'll add a wildcard. And let's run this query, and we get back mountain end caps. If I wanted to match 2 letters, I'll place 2 underscores. Run it again. We get back the same name. Okay, this example is not really useful. So let's try and find something which is more practical. Let's filter back on names starting with the word mountain. So you can see that there are few names out here that follow a certain pattern. So it's words starting with the word mountain, then a dash, then a 3-digit number followed by some text. So what we can do is mix and match our wildcards to make our filter a bit more specific. What we will say is return everything that starts with the word mountain dash and a 3-digit number ending with 2 zeros. The start of the 3-digit number can be variable like 1 or 2. So for that, we can use an underscore wildcard, 2 zeros, and it can end with any text. Let's see what we get back. That matches the pattern that we are after. Great. Not like is the inverse. So where name, not like mountain % will return every product whose name does not start with mountain. Run this, and there you go. One practical note on like and performance. Like mountain % with the wildcard at the end can still use a database index to find rows efficiently. But like %mountain % with a wildcard at the start cannot. SQL Server has to scan every row in the table to evaluate a leading wildcard. On a table with a few hundred rows like production.product, this makes no visible difference. But on a table with millions of rows in an operational system, a leading wildcard in a frequently run query can cause real performance issues. So that's just something worth noting when you move beyond AdventureWorks. Between is a shorthand for a range condition. It tests whether a column value falls between a lower bound and an upper bound, and both boundaries are included in the result. Let's start with a numeric example. Let's find products priced between 500 and 1000. So we're going to filter on list price between 500 and 1000. Let's see what we get back. Only the products priced between 500 and 1000 are returned back. And just to show you the boundary condition in work, we will make our lower bound more specific to 594.83 to show that these products will be included as well. Let's run this query. And yes, items sitting on the lower bound and on the upper bound will be included. So just to show you one more thing, writing between these two values is equivalent to saying list price greater than and equal to and list price less than or equal to. This will give us the same result, 36 rows, run 36 rows. But I would say between is simply cleaner to read and write. Either form is correct though. Between works just as well on dates. So the business scenario is your finance director wants every order placed in the Q1 of 2025. You know the start date and the end date. Between expresses that directly. So let's use the sales order header table. We'll enter our dates as YYYY-MM-DD. That's the lower bound. And that's the upper bound. Run the query. We can see the initial date is included. And the upper bound, which is the 31st of March, is included as well. Notice the lower value always goes first. Writing between the 31st of March 2025 and the 1st of January 2025 with the order of the dates reversed will return 0 rows. SQL Server will evaluate this as find rows where order date is both on or after March and on or before January simultaneously. So nothing qualifies. So always put the lower value first. And just a quick note, there is one issue with having this date as the upper bound, and I will address that in a bit. Not between is the inverse. So if we say where list price not between 500 and 1000, this will return every product price below 500 and above 1000. Run this query. So you can see products below 500 and products above 1000. Back to the previous query, one date specific issue is worth flagging right now. The order date column in sales.sales order header stores both a date and time. To show you what it looks like, you've got the date and the time. So it's a date time data type and not a plain date. That means when you write between the 1st of January 2025 and 31st of March 2025, SQL Server interprets 31st March 2025 as midnight at the very start of the day, which is 31st March and 0 o'clock, meaning any order placed during the day of the 31st of March falls outside the range and will be excluded. And that's not what we want. A safe pattern for date time columns is to use one day after the actual end date instead of including the end date itself. So we will say 1st of April 2025. Run the query. It looks like all the orders in Adventure Works are being placed at midnight, so our modified condition doesn't make pure sense. But in the real world, you would have orders being placed throughout the day. And here you would see that orders placed during the day on 31st of March would be included out here. In tests whether a column value matches any item in a specified list. It's the clean alternative to writing a long chain of OR conditions. So the business scenario is your operations lead wants data for products available in red, blue, or yellow. Without in, you would write 3 separate OR conditions. So let's run this query. That works. Now let's write the same filter using in. We have 100 rows. Let's run this query. We get back 100 rows. So both queries return identical results, but the in version is shorter, easier to read, and easier to maintain. If the operation lead comes back next week and wants to add silver to the list, all we need to do is add one more item inside the parenthesis. That's it. But with the OR version, you would need to append another full condition. In works with numbers too. Suppose you need orders from 3 specific sales territories. Let's run this query. So we get all the results related to these specific territory IDs. Okay. You can combine in and just as you would with any other condition. What we will do is say we want products where the color is red or blue and where the list price is greater than 500. Run this query. We'll just add in list price. Just make sure that the results make sense. Yep. Red, blue, and all the prices are above 500. Not in is the reverse. Where color not in red and blue will return every product that is not red or blue. That looks correct. There is an important caveat with null values. And it's worth demonstrating properly before video 7 eventually covers null in full detail. So watch what happens when a null is present inside the list itself. So first let's see this result. So note in this result set, rows where color is null are absent. Null is not red or blue, but it's still excluded anyway. Why? Well, because null in a comparison always evaluates to unknown, never true. So those rows fail the filter silently. That behavior will be covered fully in video 7. Now let's check out one more thing. Let's try and explicitly inject null into the not in list. We would think that running this query would give us the same exact number of rows because null is not included in this list anyways. Let's run this query. 0 rows are returned. Now not just the null rows are gone, but every row is gone as well. What happened? When a null appears inside a not in list, every comparison in the list resolves to unknown. SQL Server cannot confirm that any row is definitely not equal to null, so every row fails the filter. This is a real structural hazard of not in. A single null anywhere in the dynamic subquery list silently destroys the entire result set. And that is exactly the scenario video 7 will break down in detail. One more thing that surprises people the first time they move from AdventureWorks to a real business database, it's case sensitivity in like patterns. Whether like mountain with a small m or like mountain with a capital M return the same results depends on the collation of the database. Collation is a setting that controls how SQL Server compares and sorts text. Most SQL Server installations in business environments use a case-sensitive collation by default, which means both patterns will return identical rows. But not all installations do. And if you're connecting to a database you did not set up, you do not necessarily know which collation it uses. One way to find out is query sys.databases. Let's run this query. The collation name is given out here. SQL_Latin1_general_CP1 is the code page, which controls character encoding. The two parts that matter for our purposes are the letters after it. CI means case insensitive. That is, SQL Server treats mountain with a small m and mountain with a capital M as the same string when comparing or filtering. And AS means accent sensitive. So an E and an E with an accent on top would be treated as different characters. So if the collation look like CS instead of CI, where CS is case sensitive, then we would need to match the case exactly when querying on text fields. But since AdventureWorks is CI, both these queries will return the same result. The safe habit would be to match the casing as they actually exist in the database. But if you don't want to do that, you could use the upper or lower function on the querying field. So here we'll normalize all the values in the name field to lowercase, which means this query will definitely return a match. That's it. Next video covers null values in depth. Null has already come up twice as a caveat in these last two videos, in the where conditions and in not in, and now it gets its own video because it is a concept that causes more silent, hard to spot errors in business reports than almost anything else in T-SQL. Understanding it properly will save you from a whole category of mistakes. See you in the next one.